Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from the Frontier, and as always, thank you for stopping by. I did an interview with Mr. Colin Moore, Safaricom CEO, after the release of their full year earnings, and that link is the first item of business on Rich Wrap-Ups, if you care to take a look. Around the same time, I wrote a piece about how Bob Collymore deserved another term at Safaricom. And I said Safaricom has done some serious heavy lifting. CEO Bob Collymore has presided over a golden age of shareholder value creation, presiding over a 322.68% share price appreciation during his tenure. And that is juiced bigly when you factor in the dividends that Safaricom has paid over that period. In fact, I know Colin Moore is big on the sustainability agenda, but he is a CEO who can afford to because shareholder returns rank in the top 1 percentile in the world. And that is why Safaricom is on the radar of practically every international investor in a way few sub-Saharan African shares are. I am evangelical about Safaricom because they have bridged Kenya Inc. into the new 21st century. I recall a time when there were 15,000 landlines, of which we had one. Today you can connect with 7.5 billion people. You can plug yourself into the real time via mobile data, and you can transact via M-Pesa. Safaricom has always bet big on this information superhighway, and they have consistently been proven correct. Macro thoughts watching this unravel in real time is just mind-boggling. Mr. Bernanke said, "It always puzzled me a little bit, it still does, that markets are blasé about political risk until the last moment." The White House is going to go bonkers, is how one Republican reacted to the Trump-Russia Special Counsel news. They've appointed a special counsel to look into this whole matter. Impeachment odds surged. This is Trump impeachment odds via Zero Hedge. The CBOE volatility index jumped more than 8%. Fed rate hike odds tumbled after Washington chaos hits the bond market. Watergate's ghosts haunt Trump after FBI leak. S&P plunged 50% from 1973 until Gerald Ford took office in September 1974. The dollar index has erased all of Trump pre-election gains as chaos at White House takes toll on market sentiment. Obama told friends Trump is a bullshitter. And I concluded by saying the bullshitter gets nailed right in front of our eyes in real time, and I said this is better than reality TV. It's certainly bizarre. Home thoughts, let me take you somewhere else entirely. Let's start with Salman Rushdie, my favorite sentence of his ever, which is from Imaginary Homelands, page 206. Ours is the most cryptic of centuries, its true nature, a dark secret. Powerful, isn't it? My father's been in the hospital for about 20 days, and the last 20 days have been an emotional roller coaster. There are days when he speaks of his dad, my grandfather, of whom I was very fond and who was even fonder of me. My grandfather would visit his wife's grave practically every day, and I would accompany him. He would drive at 25 kilometers per hour around Mombasa with his dog, the dachshund called Jackie. Jackie committed suicide after my grandfather died by leaping out of the car window to his death. So, my dad keeps speaking about his father and his mother, my grandmother, as if they are in the room. And then he turns to me in a moment of absolute clarity and says, "Alika, why am I talking about dead people?" I said, if you feel they are here, they are real, because maybe that is the African in me, see Ben Okri. Strangely, when I visited my mother last before she passed away, she too would seemingly jump into her past. Mum was very religious, and in fact, to quote Boris Johnson, who spoke of syncresis at a reception here in Nairobi, could have been speaking of my mother, who was wonderfully syncretic and happy to pray in a church, mosque, or temple. And then she realized it was her in a temple. Mum used to volunteer at our mosque to wash bodies of the dead. It's considered particularly favourable when you get out to see your maker. She would always return to the story of how one day she was washing a body, and then she realised it was her best friend from primary school. Don't know why that came to my mind. Let me put up a photograph of the syncretic Boris Johnson, his words, not mine, and remind you of the swing and why I said to my dad, if you think they're here, it's real. The swing is, of course, by Kabir. Between the poles of the conscious and the unconscious, there has the mind made a swing. Thereon hang all beings and all worlds and all that, and that swing never ceases its sway. Millions of beings are there, the sun and the moon, and their courses are there, millions of ages pass, and the swing goes on, all swing. I imagine Dad's on a swing right now, and millions of ages have passed, and all kinds of people are appearing. Islam, who I shipped up to Nairobi from a bus and was Dad's driver, but now sits with him during the day, thank goodness, otherwise I don't know what I'd be doing, says to me that Dad is confused. I want to say he's perfectly lucid. We just have to tune in. This song came in my mind yesterday. I discovered it's by the Detroit Emeralds. And it's called Feel the Need. Listen to it, it's fantastic. Can you guess how much this piece of art is worth? It's by Roy Lichtenstein, Crying Girl, 1964. I think I saw this Lichtenstein in Washington, actually. Both the speed of light and globalization figure in Virilio's writing. At one point he wrote, "The speed of light does not merely transform the world, it becomes the world. Globalization is the speed of light." Virilio is also quoted as saying, "There is no such thing as globalization, there is only virtualization. What is being effectively globalized by instantaneity is time." Think about that. Emmanuel Macron's cabinet shows France's alliance with Germany is back. I put in brackets, it's a love fest between Angela and Emmanuel. Take a look at this photograph. Ray Trump, this is 21st century Shakespeare, to have actually held the prize, the White House, in your hands, then to willfully throw it away. I asked, where is his consigliere? Who is telling him, stop, this is insane. You don't have to do it like this. Putin offers a transcript to prove Trump did not pass Russia's secrets, and I asked myself, firstly, how on earth is he getting a transcript from a conversation held in the White House? And listen to this. I spoke to him, Lavrov, today, a smiling Putin told a news conference with Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni in the Russian Black Sea resort of Sochi. I'll be forced to issue him, Lavrov, with a reprimand because he did not share these secrets with us, not with me, nor with representatives of Russia's intelligence services. It was very bad of him. I concluded by saying Vladimir's having a laugh. And of course, go back to that. We have a deviate tomahawk. I have no doubt that Putin ran a seriously 21st century, predominantly digital program of interference, which amplified the Trump candidacy. POTUS Trump was an ideal candidate for this kind of support. Trump is a linguistic warfare specialist. Look at the names he gave his opponents: Crooked Hillary, Lying Ted, Little Marco, Low Energy Jeb. Were devastating and terminal. So the first thing is plausible deniability, which I think Putin achieved. The second thing is non-linearity. You have to learn how to navigate a linear system in a non-linear way. You learn that as well. Beppe Grillo, the comic-turned leader of the Five-Star Movement in Italy, said, "It is the deflagration of an epoch. It's the apocalypse of this information system, of the TVs, of the big newspapers, of the intellectuals, of the journalists." And I said, he's right. Traditional media has been disrupted and the insurgents can broadcast live and over the top. From feeding the hothouse conspiracy frenzy online, constant state of destabilized perception, Vladislav Surkov's quote, timely and judicious quote doses of WikiLeaks leaks, which drained Hillary's bona fides and her turnout and motivated Trump's. I said, what we've witnessed is something remarkable and noteworthy. Putin has proven himself an information master, and his adversaries are his information victims. And he's got a sense of humor. Arms package to Riyadh between $98 billion and $128 billion over 10 years. Total sales could reach $350 billion. I concluded with a quote from my previous article saying Deputy Crown Prince was quoted on Al Arabiya about Iran. How can I communicate with them while they prepare for the arrival of Al-Mahdi al-Muntazar? Well, he's preparing for them with $350 billion of arms purchases. I said, this is deluded thinking at a time when things could seriously fall apart. Then I quoted one of my favorite poems, turning and turning in the widening gyre. The falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The centre cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere a ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. I use that poem because of the second coming, which is what the Saudi Deputy Crown Prince was referring to. From oil to jihad in 9/11, the highs and lows of the US-Saudi relationship. Sudan, Le President Omar al-Bashir has been invited to a summit in Riyadh with Donald Trump. Pretty extraordinary. International markets, Europe's Trump rally in spotlight and political crisis. Indeed, who would have thought the US would present the greatest clear and present geopolitical risk right now? Britain's unemployment drops to the lowest rate since 1975. Time for some good news. Japan's real GDP grew a real 0.5% quarter on quarter, a fifth consecutive gain for the first time in 11 years. Currency markets, let's take a look at that, because all hell's been breaking loose over there. Euro dollar 111.15, having crossed 111.60 overnight. Dollar index 97.61, new target 93.50. Japanese yen, now where is that? 110.32, about to break 110. Swissy, when I checked last, 0.790. Pound, topped 130 for the first time in eternity, 130.29. The Australian dollar, 0.7420, softening. India rupee, 64.335, top performing Asian currency. South Korean won, 11.2512. Brazilian real, 3.1369. Egyptian pound, 18.0950. And the South African rand, my goodness, what a move. I was so short, and then I got squeezed, and now we're at 13.50. Ooh. The dollar-yen move has created a lot of happy traders, apparently. Take a look at the chart. We're now at 110.31. Big move, dollar-yen. Flight to safety. Dollar index drops to a 6-month low. My new target for this index is 93.50. Euro dollar, we're now trading 111.16. We've got this very strong yen, but I think ultimately we're going up. My real target for the euro dollar is 114.50. Just so you know. In December of this last year, I said my optimal portfolio at this moment looks like this: long Bitcoin, long Bitcoin, short gold. Take a look at this Bitcoin chart to see what Bitcoin has done. London's office vacancies surge as companies face Brexit uncertainty. Gold, where are we now? 1261.56. We've already had a big rebound. It's all about the geopolitics. It's a proxy. And Trump is now more than a tail risk. Crude oil, let's take a look at where that is. In New York, down big, $48.59. Last trading. I thought it wasn't going to last, but it lasted longer than I expected. World's most expensive earrings fetch $57 million at Sotheby's. The earrings known as the Apollo Blue and the Artemis Pink were bought by the same buyer who wants to remain anonymous, Sotheby's said on Wednesday. Named after ancient Greek gods, the pear-shaped earrings were estimated at $50 million to $68 million combined. I like this joke from Amanda Rosenberg. You, an idiot millionaire, buy houses. Me understands the world is burning, and it's a play on the price of avocados and coffee. And a millionaire saying you've got to cut that out of your diet if you really want to be a millionaire. And on that note, let me put up a photograph of probably the best avocado I've ever tasted, which was at the Mara Fairmont, which is a wonderful place, and from their organic garden. Avocados, which are not in the commodity basket, have found an off-ramp and remain at all-time highs. Let's move on to Africa. Angola opposition party requests report on president's health. Official information about President Jose Eduardo dos Santos' health after he left in a private trip to Spain more than 2 weeks ago. There are many rumors about the health of the president, and there is a need to officially provide clarification about what is happening. Alcides Sakala, a spokesman for the National Union of the Total Independence of Angola, said by phone from Luanda. While this is a society that is very fertile when it comes to rumors, there is no official information available about the president's health. Dos Santos' daughter Isabel said on her Instagram account that reports that her father had died were fake and aimed at causing turmoil in Angolan politics. The 74-year-old Dos Santos is Africa's second longest-serving ruler, traveled to Barcelona on May 1st. Well, it seems that carefully laid plans might be unwound by the speed with which the president is deteriorating. Funds flock to Senegal's Eurobond, placing $9 billion of orders. We're back to the go-go days. 8 times oversubscribed. Sold with an initial yield of 6.25%. After initially offering 6.5%, investors placed $9.3 billion worth of orders, the Ministry of the Economy said in an email statement. Incredible. Senegal's economic prospects have been boosted by offshore oil and gas finds. Cosmos Energy announced the discovery of a gas field this month that could hold about 6 times what the UK consumes annually. The economy may grow at 6.8% this year, the most in sub-Saharan Africa after Ethiopia and the Ivory Coast, according to the IMF. Look at this photograph of Jacob Zuma and Brian Molefe, whom I met actually in Tanzania. We were doing a Might Speak. Newly reinstated head of South Africa's power utility has been accused of attempting to influence a former minister. Reversed plans to close power plants that his predecessor claimed weren't needed and set the country's ruling party against its president. He has been back on the job only for 2 days. Politically and ethically, the reinstatement stinks to high heaven. It seems to me that power has become so dispersed that some power lies in the state, some power lies in the government, some power lies in powerful economic actors, some power lies in powerful families. South African oil shares up 6.61% this year, dollar versus rand, caveat emptor. Africa's richest man shuts food factory after pests destroy the tomato crop. Nigerian oil share up 3.82% this year. Ghana's stock exchange composite index up 13.29%. Zambia's central bank cuts benchmark lending rate to 12.5%. Food prices are much lower. They've had good rains down there. We have not yet adjusted our 5.3% full year 2017 GDP forecast. That was Armando Morales, who's the IMF representative. Professor Ryan, who was also at that function I was at yesterday, says the informal sector is very efficient at allocating capital and employs a higher velocity with that capital. Central Bank of Kenya Deputy General DG Sheila Mabijwe, she was the guest keynote speaker. She spoke of a new normal, and she said the way banks made money before has come to an end. The Nairobi All Shares up 2.83% year to date. The NSE 20 is up 1.26% year to date. We've had a good recovery, but we're still lagging global markets, and there's some room for catch up. But once again, thank you.